folks, I hope you're all well. It's a lovely sunny day and I'm going to get on and do some cooking in a minute. But before I get going, a couple of things I want to say to you. First of all, we're at Saltburn Farmers Market this coming weekend. That's October the 11th, Saturday October the 11th, we'll be there. Secondly, we are already receiving a lot of orders. We've actually sold 78 pounds of sausages plus bacon plus burgers already, and I haven't even picked the pigs up yet. And today's Sunday. And thirdly, the recipe that's going on the Facebook page this week is duck in red wine. Now, I appreciate you might think, well, that's a bit odd, Dave, why are you doing duck in red wine? You make sausages and bacon. Well, that's true, but one of the key ingredients for duck in red wine is our smoked bacon. The combination of the oak smoked bacon with good red wine, shallots, garlic and a good quality stock not only produces a very rich and tasty recipe, but it's also very versatile. And although we keep ducks, and therefore we've got a lot of ducks because we've got 14 outside that have just been killed, there's also a whole host of other things you can be using, like rabbit, relatively plentiful this time of year. And again, at Saltburn Farmers Market you can buy rabbit from Peter, just opposite us, but also, importantly, pheasant. Now pheasant, if you know a beater, and there are plenty of them about, you can pick up pheasant breast for as little as £1 a brace, or even ask him to breast it out for you. And I think last time I got that, I paid, don't quote me, I think it was £1.20 for 4 pheasant breasts, which makes it a very, very nice meal to be able to do, particularly if you're doing a large quantity. It would seem a bit posh to people to be making, pheasant breast in red wine, but it's cost you peanuts. I mean, it is a great little dish, honestly. But part of the sort of ingredients of it is stock. And although you can buy stock, it was a complete revelation to me when I started making my own stock. I mean, it's a few years ago now, and to be quite truthful with you, it's not really changed a great deal from the first time I made it. It's actually quite simple and straightforward, and it's an odd thing. Everybody's stock has a certain uniqueness about it, even if you seem to be using the same ingredients. I think it must be because, as families, we have our own particular likes and dislikes, and so obviously the leftovers and things that you put in your stock will reflect your family's likes and dislikes. So that's probably got part of it, the thing to do with it. So anyway, basic ingredients for stock. Now, before you switch off completely, I do know that it makes a one-day job into a 3-day job if you're going to do the stock from scratch. What I would say is think of stock as something that you just do as and when you have time, put it in the freezer, and then when you need it, it's there. Rather than thinking, in order to do stew, you've got to start by making stock. Well, unless you've got acres of time, it's really not practical, is it? We've already made the stock for the duck in red wine that we're making today, and I made it a few days ago, and I just put it in milk bottle cartons, and it's in the fridge. If I had it for any longer than that, I'd have put it straight in the freezer, but there you go. So, stock. You will need, if you're making a meat stock, bones, trimmings, vegetables and herbs. If you're making a vegetarian stock, obviously you don't need the meat and the bones, but the herbs and the vegetables probably pretty much the same. You can use a variety, and a pretty limitless variety, of vegetables and bits and pieces in a stock. I like to make individual stocks for different meals. So in other words, I'll make a chicken stock to do obviously with chicken meals, duck stock to go with duck, and so on and so forth. A lot of places you'll find, particularly large restaurants, they will just make a general stock. So all their leftovers go and you get a general stock. The key ingredients of vegetables, which I've already said, is that you must have carrots, onions and celery. If you haven't got those three, doesn't matter what else you've got, don't bother starting making stock. And the ratio I would say would be roughly 3 carrots, 2 sticks of celery to 1 medium to largish onion. That's roughly the ratio I'd go with. And in terms of the ratio of vegetables to meat, I would go about a third vegetables to 2/3 bones, roughly. And in addition to that, for every 3 carrots, 2 celery and 1 onion, I put 2 tea bags of bouquet garni. If you've got your own herbs, even better. You won't need quite as much because obviously fresh herbs are that much stronger than dried herbs. And a few bay leaves, probably more or less the same number of bay leaves as tea bags, roughly. Your stock will need to cook for at least 4 hours. It only wants to go on a very, very slow simmer. And when you've finished, you need to strain it out, put the liquid, which once it's completely strained, into a very clean pan and reduce it down by about, well, at least 2/3, probably 3/4. But then you'll have a stock which you can then put away and it will just transform, literally transform your cooking. Very, very, very worthwhile. As I say, the photo montage that's going on this week is duck in red wine. We have had a lot of orders already this week. If you're wanting smoked bacon, I would suggest you probably get in touch with us if you can. But I hope when you see the recipe you enjoy looking at it. I hope you give it a go. If you need to know where you can get pheasant breast from, if Peter can't help you out on Saturday or you can't make it, give me a shout, and there's a couple of beaters we know who I'm sure will be only too happy with the extra business. Well, hopefully we'll see you Saturday, and I hope you enjoy watching these videos. And if you've got any comments about meals you'd like to see done, or ideas that we maybe haven't thought of, I'd love to hear them. Over the coming weeks, to let you know, we're doing cassoulet in a fortnight, well, not this week, the following week, which is a brilliant recipe for doing, for large crowds. And in line with that, we've actually, for the first week of this season, we're starting smoking some of our garlic sausage, so that, if you are making that kind of dish, there's some nice smoked sausage to go in there to help out. But again, that's in relatively, well, I'm probably going to do about £20 of it. So, yeah, hopefully I'll see you Saturday. Alright, lovely, see you soon.